The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
The Nintendo Shack is back. Welcome to the PSVG Nintendo Shack. I am Jason Lacey. We're happy to have you here for episode 27. Joining me this week is Miss Caroline.
Time to game with a dame.
Right.
Did it take you back?
Yeah. I'm still marveling over the repeated fails that we had to get this podcast going. So,
okay.
Yes, podcasting, internet, technology. And also here this week, Mr. Donnie Reese.
Greetings, Kooplings. What's going on?
Welcome, sir.
I'm excited to shack.
Woo!
I'm going to keep you guys going tonight. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah, we usually have like, hey, what are we going to talk about tonight? I don't know. There's nothing going on. And then boom. Got all this cool stuff. We got all the cool stuff to talk about tonight.
Yep.
Hope you're ready for some good Nintendo fun because we are. Donnie, you got a boatload of news.
Oh, we have so much news. And
so much news.
I knew you said it in Discord last week. We went a day early so Caroline and I could watch the draft, and then we woke up that morning and just a deluge of news came out. We had nothing to talk about Nintendo really for weeks, and then just all kinds of news came out. All kinds of news. You want me to start?
Yeah, let's go. Let's
break into it. Woo! Okay. I'm going to try really hard not to butcher this name. I actually practiced it about 36 times earlier. Nintendo has a new president. So Tatsumi Kimishima has stepped down. And that's not surprising, right? When he took over, like it was supposed to be a short-term thing. He's actually been there for, I guess, 2 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been there for a while. And they've turned it over. But also, before we get to the new guy, Shibata, who is like the EU, he's like Europe's Iwata, really. He does all the Nintendo Directs. He's the face over there. He stepped up, I think. He's no longer president of Nintendo Europe. He's now on the board of directors. So I think he stepped up into a promotion, and he's joined by Koizumi, who is in the Switch reveal, and then also Tezuka, who basically made all of your favorite games. He's like Super Mario 3, Link to the Past. He does a lot of Yoshi stuff, all kinds of Mario stuff, Mario 64, I think. Yeah, he's a legend. He's up there with Miyamoto. So probably underappreciated, actually. Probably should get a lot more airtime. But yeah, they all moved up to the board. So it's like this whole company-wide shakeup, really. And they spoke to some of that. I've got some comments for that. But the new president, Shuntaro Furukawa. I said that so many times earlier.
I think, that's pretty close.
Thank you. He's 46 years old, which he's the fifth or sixth president of Nintendo since like 1880. And only Iwata was younger when he was named president, and he was younger just by a little. I think he was 42 when he was named president in 2002. So, I mean, and that was really kind of the message. The message from Kimishima when they addressed the press was, hey, we want to restructure. We're kind of realigning things, and we want to go younger. They were like, video games is a youthful business. He's like, we sell, I think they called them, I think he called them playthings. He's like, we're in the business of making playthings and entertaining. And he was like, you kind of need to have a youthful heart. Now, that's about where I think the comparison to Iwata maybe stops. Iwata was a game developer. Iwata made Pokemon and worked at HAL forever and Kirby and all this stuff. Like, this is not a game developer. Furukawa is a marketing guy. And apparently he's been working on Nintendo's strategic plan for the last 2 years, and he has like this 2-year plan post-Switch. He's been in their global sales business, marketing strategy. He worked in Germany and Nintendo EU for over a decade. He is 100% fluent in English, which they mentioned as being important. And he said some interesting things. A couple that I noted here. He said that he wants more global sales. He specifically mentioned the markets of China, I believe Saudi Arabia, some Middle Eastern countries, and Russia. He wants to expand Nintendo's business into new markets to sell more. And he mentioned that the 3DS business will continue until the Switch is a one console per person product. So as right now, they kind of look at the Switch in that home console space where it's a one console per household. And they're going to keep marketing the 3DS until it's a one Switch per person, which makes me think that we'll probably still be getting 3DS games until the Switch gets at least 2 price cuts. At least until it's $199. At least until $199. But maybe
Thank
even
you for
post
explaining that to me.
I'm sorry?
Because I said thank you for explaining that to me. Because when I read that, I was like, I don't even know what that means. What is?
Yeah.
Now you put that in perspective. Now it makes sense. The one per household per person. Now I get it.
It's so funny. We brought this up when the Switch was unveiled. You know, they were so adamant that it was a home console. They wanted to be compared to other consoles, and they were obviously underpowered. And it seems like the more days that pass since then, they constantly go back to marketing more as a portable. I think maybe they've realized that people are more interested in the Switch as a portable, so now they're trying to lean in that direction. He also mentioned that, you know, the 3DS has a rich library that's the price is easy to afford for parents, and the devices are cheap enough and durable enough to give to kids. And we've talked about that, right? The Switch being a tablet, how much it costs and all that. Like, you really can't pass it off to little ones. So for those of you waiting for that 3DS to die, I don't think that's coming anytime soon. This statement makes me think we're getting 3DS games for 2 years.
Probably at least until 2020, I would say.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw bundled discount Switches this holiday, but we're not getting we're not getting a legit price cut. I don't think this year. Do you?
Oh no, not this year.
Yeah, this thing isn't dropping in price this year.
No.
Maybe next year.
Next year, maybe.
If they come out with a different model or anything, like maybe. But I see like bundle discounts. Maybe you pay the full price of a Switch and you get Breath of the Wild or you get Mario Kart or something like that for sure. So, yeah, Nintendo just had a brand new president, and he mentioned some other things. Like he's shaken up, I guess, their strategic board. He said he wants it to be 5-person only, which made me think that before it was a lot. And he's like kind of streamlining all of the development teams. The one question that I want to pose to the panel here at Shack is, this guy seems to be like a shrewd businessman, if I may. I mean, he's, again, marketing. He's talking about how he wants to expand all of their businesses. I mean, this looks like a profit margin guy. And does that make you feel good or bad?
I think if you need to treat it like a business, and he obviously wants to treat it like a business. I mean, it's cool to make things that are fun, and at the end of the day, that is the core thing that makes these things sell. But you've got to have some sort of structure and I guess accounting and the marketing, and I'll go off to Tom Kalinske, what he did for Sega of America, and he had his background in marketing since the 70s, the Mattel days that he was there. And what he did with Sega was unbelievable for the time. And the only thing that screwed them up was Sega of Japan saying that they couldn't do anything. So I think that having somebody in a background of marketing is actually probably going to be a good thing, hopefully. If he's the one that's been doing everything for the past 2 years for the Switch, I'd say he's done a pretty good job.
That's a good point. The Switch has been marketed well. It's something we constantly talk about, how they've marketed towards young adults in a different market and things that they haven't done. And I mean, it's a really good point. I think we discussed this a little bit on the earnings call. It's interesting how we as consumers have all this emotional, nostalgic love and ties to these video games, these characters, these things that we couldn't live without, and they're all controlled by people that are just looking to try to make as much money as possible.
Right.
I thought it was interesting, and we can come back to this a little bit more after Caroline jumps into her topic on the new president. But quite a shakeup right here at the end of the fiscal year. Right, they've done this great year. Switch has done a fantastic job, and then we're changing everything in how we do business. I just thought it was crazy.
I like this dude. I'm just going to put an aside. Like, if anybody's, this is not safe for work video, but if anybody likes Etika from Etika World Network, he's done a pretty good video on the new shakeup and everything. And Brian and I picked up on this immediately when we saw his haircut. And he's like, that guy's an otaku. So this guy might be the reason that we have the jiggle physics and, the Joy-Con rumble and stuff. You never know. I think because somebody said that guy definitely has a body pillow or something. But anyway,
didn't he spend some time at the Pokemon Company as well?
He did, yeah. He's
on their board. He's on their board of directors for the last 10 years, I think. Yeah.
But on my side of things, so he's going to be focusing on mobile. And we've seen a lot of good stuff out of mobile. Obviously, Fire Emblem Heroes, and I guess Animal Crossing is still making money. I'm not sure. But we have that new game that they've acquired, that RPG that's hitting Japan and Hong Kong, I think. And it's not going to be coming to the States anytime soon, but I'm really excited when it does. He wants smartphone gaming to hit 100 billion yen, which is just shy of $1 billion in America. It's $911 million just with one game. So we've already had 450 million just from Nintendo Mobile in 2017 alone. And I think the majority of that is definitely Fire Emblem.
Yeah, so he's looking at that business and he says, I want to double it. I want to double what we're doing in the mobile
double
market.
or triple almost.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
I do play mobile, but you know what? I started every single Nintendo game on mobile, and I just don't play them anymore. It's something that I don't know. I think it's just I see them as cash grabs, and that's why I'm opposed to it. There's only one game that's allowed me to get the cash grab, and y'all know what that is. But I did like Animal Crossing. It got stale really quick. And Fire Emblem Heroes was a collectathon, and I can't do that. It's not good for my health. But that RPG that I was talking about, the JRPG that's coming to Japan soon, is actually by a developer named Cygames that apparently has been working on this for some time, and it's called Dragalia. I'm interested in it because I've been playing nothing but a JRPG since December. So it'd be nice to have a JRPG on Switch, JRPG on my phone. Quite nice day. And then we've got Mario Kart Tour that's also in the works. So
this fiscal year. They said it's coming this fiscal year. So it's planned between this time next year. We should be playing Mario Kart Tour on our phones.
Cool. I would probably think that it would be coming later on at the end of the year then.
Probably.
Still don't know. I mean,
it's been a while since.
I'm just curious what that is.
I'm using tilt controls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I'm fine with them expanding mobile, but I want them to be fun experiences, not like, oh, insert coin to continue, and I mean, I understand they're trying to drive revenue through that, but at least like Fire Emblem was a bit more of a game, but then I have no interest in doing the collecting, much like
that's what killed it for me. I played it for about 2 weeks, and then everything's limited on the weekends, and you got to buy the stuff to get for a chance to get the characters.
No. Yeah. And same thing with Animal Crossing. It was just like, okay, this is cool, but I really just don't care about decorating this campsite. And if you don't care about that, then it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I feel like they really missed what Animal Crossing could have been.
I agree.
Yeah, Animal Crossing could have been huge.
I do think that it was still something to tie everybody over until an actual new Animal Crossing for hopefully it's going to be on the Switch. So
before we move into earnings reports, my real question, hey, Sean Caprice in the chat. Hey,
Sean Capri!
Thanks for dropping by the shack. Do you guys have any concerns that, like, if Nintendo really hits it big on mobile, that it robs their dedicated gaming business? It's something I always bring up every time I feel like I hear about it. Like, I'm worried that, like, Fire Emblem Heroes might become something that the next Fire Emblem game might be like. I don't want, because we see it, right? We see we've already had the Star Wars experience. Right? We see these games adopt mobile things. Pay $60 for full game. They have microtransactions. They have loot boxes. They have all this stuff. Like, could this possibly be Nintendo going, hey, we're going to start doing some of this?
I think they've done DLC so well on the Switch so far that they would be remiss to mess that up. And I think there's two separate and distinct things. There's people that want to spend $1.99 on a little thing in a mobile game versus people that want to buy the season pass online on a game that they've already paid $60 for. You can spend up to $200 on a mobile game. Trust me.
I mean, I agree. Every time I hear this news, I can't help but go there. In my mind, I'm like, what happens when they put Mario Golf on mobile instead of on Switch? Like, what happens when the profits outweigh? I mean, think about it. Fire Emblem made $400 million, $300 million. That's insane. Do you think Fire Emblem Warriors made that much money?
Oh, heck no.
No. Like, I don't know. Maybe they could be completely separate, dedicated businesses. But every time I hear it, I just get slightly concerned, especially with the Switch being a tablet, like something that plays mobile games.
Yeah, that can be hacked, dude. We haven't even talked about how it can be hacked, have we?
Them expanding their smartphone business actually brings me a second point I want to make on this topic alone, is I actually think it would behoove them to put their mobile games on Switch.
Yeah, I can see that.
That way you could play if you have a Switch, or you could play just on your phone. But you'd have
and just do transactions through eShop on Switch. I can see that. I don't know. It's just a matter of you have to do code for iOS, you have to code for Android, and then you have to code for Switch.
Right.
Switch is Android.
Is it?
It's their own OS, but they built it off of Android kernel, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
Right? From NVIDIA?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're correct. I think based on like the browsers I've seen running on Switch, I'm pretty sure they look Android in nature.
It's at least Android in origin. They definitely have their own proprietary stuff on it, but it's Android based.
I don't know. I think that two sides can coexist, as separate entities, much like we've seen the 3DS side of the business continue to run separately. I don't know. I think like there's profits that can be had. I don't know what the long term, I don't know what your long term. You just keep kind of churning out the same things. I don't know if there's a lot of longevity there you'd have to keep creating these new experiences on mobile. And I just don't know. I don't know how you could do that. I don't know how it's sustainable without, I think that they support one another. Look what the interest Fire Emblem got because of the mobile game, and look at Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon Go drove all these 3DS sales all of a sudden that we hadn't seen. So it's weird that I think Animal Crossing, we talked about that. Could have been a lot more timely if they had Animal Crossing come out on mobile, and then all of a sudden they're like, much more immediately. Now, we're hoping maybe we'll see something in E3, but much more immediately could have been like, we got a new Animal Crossing game, and people would be like, oh my god, I love Animal Crossing. But I don't know. I think there's core experiences that can only be offered on console, and I think they've always been in that space. I don't think they'd want us to turn their backs on a core part of their business and their players to.
And I don't mean to come to Shaq all doom and gloom. It's just
when
I read his statements and how he wanted to push the business and he's more markets and mobile $1 billion, I was just like, man, this really sounds like a profit margin type of guy. He's like, we're making $400 million right now, but if we cut here and double down over here, it could be $800 million next year. I'm just like, oh no.
I don't know. I think his youth though kind of he's not all grouchy.
Oh, I didn't say he's grouchy. I don't think he's grouchy at all. He made a ton of money this year. It's more of I can't help but think that any marketing person, right? Any person that's in marketing, honestly, any game developer can't be looking at market and just going like, why aren't we doing more of this? Because that's where the money is. That's why other games are trying to do it, right? That's why EA is putting loot boxes in their games. There's a reason. They're not doing it because they think it's cool. They're doing it because it makes a ton of money. Yeah. And I just can't help but wonder how far. Because for the most part, right, we've applauded Nintendo for their DLC practices, the amount of content they're giving us on stuff,
right.
No loot boxes. I'm wondering, just a little bit, because this is new. We don't know, right? This is new horizon, new land here. I'm just worried, how tempted they might be by this potential revenue that could be there. Because, they've got shareholders to answer to. So I'm always concerned. Every time I hear Nintendo talk mobile, it worries me a little bit.
When they make an actually good mobile game, then I'll be,
So here's a question.
People would fight you on that. People are obsessed with Fire Emblem Warriors.
So here's my question. If Fire Emblem Heroes was available on Switch tomorrow, would you download and play it?
No.
No,
I've already tried it and played it, and unless it came with all of the stuff that I wanted, and it was just you unlocked it through gameplay and you didn't have to pay for it. That's one thing.
Okay, I think I might actually, because I mean I've got them like it would just be a matter of convenience for me actually.
Did you Switch? Did you play through the story on that, or did you just play
not
it for
all of it? I don't think not all of it, because they kept adding and more stuff to it. So like, yeah.
See, I did the story, and then it's like I don't care about collecting all the characters. So
see, that's what I did care about. So that was the problem.
I don't have a reason to go back to it. So that's how they hook you, and that's like so it depends. So
and then you can like merge characters together to get a better character, and it's just an absolute mess that just never ends.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, let's talk some numbers. We like talking. Speaking of financials, so Switch has sold 17.79 million units in the first fiscal year, and they've upped their targets to aim for 20 million in the current / second fiscal year. They want to ship. Possible. I think it's possible too. They want to ship 100 million Switch during this fiscal year. Now, it's interesting because...
that's software. They want to spend 100 million pieces of software this year.
Switch software. It's interesting we talk about that, the piracy thing, because now that's come out, and I guess I shouldn't say piracy. You can hack the Switch, which may lead it to run pirated software. And the important thing to note with that is it's not... it's a flaw with the actual Tegra chip that... Mm-hmm. The Switch uses. It's not something that they can just. From my understanding, it's not something that they can patch. There's no way to fix this. It's an exploit on that chip itself. So the only way to actually resolve it is to stop shipping these units, and they'd have to have a whole new chip in the Switch. Excuse me.
It's not going to happen.
So then, I don't see how they could at that point, and it's. I don't know.
Could we be in like a
that's what happens PSP when they don't go with the other one
situation?
As long as it's on a Dreamcast type situation.
What was the other chip that they were going to put in it before, and then
Pascal
they just
chip.
Pascal? That's right.
Yeah.
And they just decided to go with Tegra in the last second. Well, I don't think anybody's. It's like, oh, what are you going to do? Recall everybody's Switch?
Yeah, and I think like there's I don't think that's going to be. People are still going to buy it, and then. There's like this other news story that came out, like this small mobile hardware developer is going after Nintendo for patent infringement on this detachable controllers. They have like these detachable controllers that mount around your smartphone, so you have like a Bluetooth handheld controller, and then they're being investigated now about it. But the whole thing was like, oh, they could put a halt on their imports, and it's like I don't think this is going to affect Nintendo's ability to sell a Switch or have more quantities come in. So if nothing else, this company would just get like royalties off it, even if it's found they infringe. But I'm pretty sure we've already seen this before with other this has been played out. So I think Nintendo's going to have no problem hitting that 20 million, shipping all the software. They'll be just fine.
20 million, huh? So their first year, their launch year, they launched with the highest selling Zelda game of all time. Some would argue the best Zelda game of all the time. A huge selling Mario game. Mario Kart, which outsells Wii U. They didn't hit 20 million this year. You think they're going to do it in year 2?
Yeah, because Smash. Absolutely.
I
think the people that have been holding out for buying the Switch, like they want to play Zelda and they want to play Mario, they've been waiting on a Smash game.
I think we've got Smash coming, and then whatever these this other unannounced, because we're going to get some big unannounced property at E3.
Please.
So for them to 20, I think they need 2 or 3 of those. I don't think they can do Smash and one other one. You need a couple, because not only did they launch with the games that I just mentioned, but they also launched with a really strong lineup that year. Think about the last, that first year. They had a game every 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we don't, and people are starting to complain about it. And you want to send 20 million out there into the wild to get picked up, I think you got to get back to that. You got to get...
Dude, Funky Kong, he's got it covered.
Funky Kong.
He's bringing it.
Man, it'd been great if they called it the
Jacob
year
Rush
of Funky
would
Kong.
definitely say so.
That would have been great if they called it the year of Funky Kong. If they did like a whole year of Luigi spin-off thing with just Funky Kong. He just started showing up everywhere. He's like Funky Kong DLC and Odyssey and everything. Just Funky Kong and Smash. Funky Kong and Mario Kart. Just Funky Kong shows up everywhere. That'd be great. That'd be hilarious.
I expect it to be like that character on The Simpsons that Homer got to voice, that the dog character on Itchy and Scratchy that everyone hated, and they killed him off. I can't remember what his name was anymore.
I forgot all about that. That's hilarious. But yes.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about that first year in the software. Let's look at numbers here. They released the top 8. Nintendo released the top 8 selling piece of software from last year. And this year too. This is all first party. Number 8, Kirby Star Allies came in at 1.29 million. Caroline's.
It's more than I thought.
That's pretty good for a Kirby game.
Yeah.
It went over 1 million.
Kirby game.
Yeah. And I mean, it's only been out a few months.
Right on the heels. Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
March was only out for a couple of weeks by the time these earnings were pulled.
Yeah.
ARMS debut release 1.85 million.
Come on, Xeno, are you serious?
Xeno.
ARMS
in trouble.
Xeno?
Yeah. 1-2 Switch 2.29 million. I've had a bunch of people I saw. I was like, "How do 1-2 Switch sell that much?" It's like, well,
there was nothing else there.
Yeah, there's nothing else to play.
The launch title.
Yeah, exactly. Splatoon 2 6.02. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 8.48.
That thing will go over 10 million, I think, easily lifetime, right?
Easily.
That's crazy. That's crazy good.
Yeah, because everyone who doesn't have a Switch and buys one is going to say, "Oh yeah."
Does that include the Wii U, or is it Wii U, or is it just the Switch?
I believe these are just Switch.
I believe
numbers.
these are Switch earnings. I believe.
Okay. It might have already hit 10 million plus. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 9.22, which trumps Wii U's 8.4. Why are we reporting the game? I already got it. Nobody's going to buy it again. Nobody's going to buy a Mario Kart.
9 million copies at $60 a piece. That's insane money.
I bought it day one.
That's
I had it pre-ordered.
Crazy money.
How long do you think it's going to take? Do you think? How long do you think it'll take Tropical Freeze to
exceed
hit
Wii U's
numbers? Yeah. Let's hope it does. I mean, let's hope it does.
First month with this install base, and when it came out, I think first month.
I know we have, like we always talk about, the echo chamber we're all in, and we, the people we surround ourselves with, but I can't, countless people's like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting it, can't wait, getting it, yep, Tropical Freeze, I'm all in," and it's like, all right. So
you do you.
I have a question. Granted that these numbers are so high, especially for old game is old, a port of this old game, Mario Kart 8. Does Switch get another Mario Kart title before it's done?
That was on Nintendo Voice Chat. I still listen to that, and that was someone's prediction. That was that we're going to get a Mario Kart game at E3.
Not this year. That's insane.
That's
insane.
Everyone's like, no way.
Maybe DLC. I would prefer they just keep adding to it.
Yes, I don't. I thought about that too. It's like I don't want another one. I think Mario Kart 8 is like 8 Deluxe is like the
magnum opus.
Yeah, that's like. I mean, you can't only. I think if we got another game, I hate to say it, but I think it would be a lesser Mario Kart game. So I would love to see like what we got at the E3 how many years back when or how did they announce the DLC? Was it just in a direct, wasn't it?
I think it was in the direct.
Yeah, it was a direct.
I was like, I don't think I had my Wii U yet, so I was kind of still on the outside, and so I don't quite remember. But how that was so awesome.
Mario Kart 8 is what made me buy a Wii U.
It's what made me buy a Wii U.
I bought the pack with the Mario Kart thing.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I got it right. I got it to play with these guys. I got it right my Wii U right when it came out, and I just don't. I don't see that happening. Just like people are really upset about if Smash was a port. That whole debate if it's a port or if it's a new game. But at the same time, I would totally be okay with that game because I think Smash Wii U is the bones, the framework there is so good, and you can just build upon that. But number one, of course, no surprise because it's the only one I hadn't mentioned. Super Mario Odyssey, 10.41 million units.
I'm surprised. I am.
Not you're surprised?
I am. Considering the amount of buzz, the launch title, the fact it was on market longer, people are, so many people are comparing it to one of their favorite best games of all time type stuff. I really am surprised that Zelda is not number one on this list. And I know that Zelda typically never outsells Mario, but I mean, just given all of the head start, like all of the advantages it has, for it still to be lagging behind, and selfishly, I just think Breath of the Wild is a far superior game.
Agree.
It's like, I'm like, who out there is getting, getting a Switch and not trying Zelda? Like, at least try it.
Well, I mean, you have to understand that I think children, like smaller children, are obviously not going to be playing Breath of the Wild, but they'll be playing a Mario game.
Sure.
And everywhere I've seen somebody outside, if I just happen to see somebody that's got a Switch out with them, it's always a kid. I haven't seen an adult actually carry around a Switch.
My son actually has 3 kids in his daycare classroom that bring their Switches to daycare. And he is so upset at me that I won't let him.
No!
He is so upset.
Oh.
He's like, Kevin gets to bring his Switch. I was like, Kevin parents can worry about Kevin. You're not bringing my Switch here. Are you out of your mind? Have you seen these heathens? Like, no.
Yeah, they're playing Smash, and I can't play with them because I don't have my Switch.
They do, and it's like this little club that they've got that I know Jack wants to be a part of because he's such a little gamer. But they sit around on their little bean bags and they play their Switch together. And
I can't believe that that's even allowed.
Sorry, man. You're not taking the $300 video game console daycare.
No. I can't believe parents allow that.
So, it's a little surprising, man. It's crazy. What a year. What a year. There's all these numbers.
That attach rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 1 out of every 2. At least.
Yep. What is it?
I mean, 1 out of 2 basically bought Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, and Odyssey. 1 out of every 2 Switch owners bought all 3 of those games.
I'm surprised Splatoon's not a little higher because just how crazy popular that is in Japan. So I'd like to see. I'm interested to see what that breakdown is between regions on that, because it seems. I mean, it's popular here, but it's like a phenomenon there. I mean,
they sell clothes and cell phones.
Like I watched the Nintendo, one of the more recent Nintendo Minutes, and they went to visit Nintendo Japan, and they're talking about how you walk around on the street and you can just, there's merchandise, all this Splatoon crap you can buy, and it's just everywhere, you know.
It's awesome. I really like. I mean, everything that I've got that's Splatoon is an import because they don't sell it in America, but it's in droves over there. They've got a manga. I mean, the manga is being localized, but it's just unbelievable that they've done a manga spinoff on this game. Can't wait to go to Japan and see all that stuff, though.
And maybe the DLC get reinvigorates. I mean, Splatoon did drop in that period where it didn't drop between Cart and Arms. It's like it went Breath of the Wild, Arms.
It came after Arms. Arms was like in May or April or something.
So we got Cart, and then we got Arms, and then Splatoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Arms went, oh.
Yeah.
I beat Jason Arms.
I never played it again.
I beat Jason Arms. That happened once.
Did happen once.
Mario Golf and Arms. Those are the advantages that I have.
Can we just? I know
you want to talk about Mario Golf a little bit? We can talk about Mario Golf a little bit
because this has been a phenomenon, and I love listening to other podcasters in our circle. They're like, "I'm playing Mario Arms." I mean, Mario Arms.
The sequel.
That's awesome.
New DLC. I'm playing Mario Golf, and I love it. And it's people like me, people that were like me. It's like 3DS. That's my new doorstop. I don't use that, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I got my 3DS back out. I'm playing Mario Golf. I love it." I mean,
I've been trying to tell you guys for 5 years now. The game's amazing.
You and Josh Stapleton started a movement.
Tried to tell you. Nobody wanted to listen to me, Caroline. When we first started PSVG, I tried for about a year to get Mario Golf tournaments going, and I had a little bit of traction, but not like this. And I'm just glad everybody's enjoying. What a fantastic game! What we need to do next is convince everybody to buy a DLC, because I'm running out of courses. Like, the DLC courses are the best.
What do I get in the DLC?
That makes sense.
The DLC, you get 4 or 5 characters and 4 courses.
I think, you get 3 characters. You get Nabbit, you get Toadette, Gold Mario, and Rosalina.
Now, Jason, with Gold Mario, every time he hits the ball, you get coins.
Gold.
Like, it's just a stream of gold, constant. So, like, if you want to level up quickly, just buy that and play Mario Golf for a week. You'll have everything.
I only play as my me. I don't play as anybody else.
That's all I've ever played with this too. I've always played as me.
But I mean, I've got like 500,000 coins that I'll never use because I've bought everything in the shop just because of Gold Mario.
You just play Gold Mario for like a day and a half. You'll have everything. You'll have all the gear you could ever want.
Yeah, I like the one of the courses that they have. It's like that nighttime one. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? It's Sky something. I can't remember. but it's very, very good. That's that hole-in-one challenge.
Yep. Was that a part of the DLC, or was it not baked in?
No, one-on-one green challenge was.
Yeah, that's in the base game.
$15. You get.
Is it in the base?
Let's see here.
Yeah, because I've played it.
I think there's a specific. There's like all specific.
Hang on. Here you get.
Sean Capri is open in the 3DSE shop. He says.
Nice. You get Toad Highlands, Koopa Park, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Toad Highlands is from the original Mario Golf game, guys.
Layer Cake Dessert, Sparkling Waters, Rock Candy Mines, and Mario Star.
Yeah, a lot of those are from Toadstool Tour and the original 64 game.
Here's what you do, Donnie. You tell people that I'm not changing the course from this Bowser one unless you buy the DLC.
Ooh.
That'll get everyone.
Oh, is the Bowser one on this week?
Yeah, this is the Bowser one. And Jason was, everybody's messaging me like, this is so hard. Why did you pick this one? Everybody's whining.
Yeah, I'm whining too. I'm like, I messaged Johnny like, I got 2 under. I hate this course.
The underwater course.
Jason stayed up last night later.
Donnie, I matched your score.
Jason stayed up last. This is the type of gamer Jason is. I posted a score. Jason didn't go to sleep until he matched it. Like, he kept playing.
I thought I was going to run out of battery. The worst part is I could have had an 8, and the literally here's the cup and the ball was just like on the edge. I was just like,
isn't that the worst? I restart whenever that happens.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times I restarted last night.
Koopa Park is like Mario Golf's Augusta National in my mind. It's very pretty. It's like very fall time. It's very like linksy. Yeah. It's like pretty. It's one of my favorite courses. I would really, you know what? I'm gonna after the Shack tonight. I'm gonna message everybody and go like, hey, let's buy the DLC.
Yeah.
So it's worth it. It's worth it.
What's the underwater one? Because that one is gonna make people rage.
Yeah. I already
the physics on that one is
clicked off the link, but that one I don't like. I don't like that one, and I'm not a huge fan of the Donkey Kong course. Those are the ones that I'm not like.
The only reason I don't like that is because of the wind.
Yeah. I like the whole tournament experience too. When you're the first person in there, and I remember when I first was playing that tournament last night. Like there was Donnie's ghost, and I think maybe like Bobby's, or I can't remember, one other person. And and then you come back the next couple days later, and all of a sudden there's like 4 or 5. Everywhere. It's just cool to see it get populated. But when you guys were talking about it, I was like, well, I don't know. You're not playing with everyone, but what would be what's the appeal there? But I don't know. It's just you still get that experience while seeing everyone's ghost shots. And then if we didn't have social media, I mean that's the huge part, being able to share it and talk about stuff. And like I didn't know how to look up the scores.
Yep.
Oh.
So I saw you guys posting screenshots, and I was like, oh. So that's the worst thing for me, because now as soon as I play around, I'm going to check the standings, and if I see someone above me,
check it every day.
That's how it goes.
Jason's just like, nope, doing this again.
Can you imagine if we got notifications saying somebody beat your score?
Oh,
how mad Jason would be.
So Jason, I know I've said this before, but I think now you're really starting to understand. Mario Golf is my smash. Like, that's the game. Like, when Mario Golf or Switch comes, I will postpone everything for months. Like, I'm going to stop buying because here's the thing that you missed, right? I mean, they're still doing it, but it's not the same like when you play it when it's new. You missed the America's tournaments, the international tournaments, all the costumes. I'm not sure, like, was that Callaway?
They still do they don't do the Callaway. The Callaway were like...
Was that a time deal, right? It was a timed promotion. Like, Jason and I have Callaway clubs.
Yeah.
Like Callaway gloves. They did this promotion with Callaway the golf company, and you get like Callaway gear. Like for playing
when was that game originally released? You remember what year was it? Like
15 or 14?
I want to say it's 15.
That was my guess, somewhere on there, because I just think of like all the like quality of life improvements they could bring to a new title like that.
Oh yeah.
On Switch with like a better infrastructure and just a better design and everything. Oh
yeah, they did like a series of 4 different Callaway tournaments interspersed with like the world tournaments. I think it was like 1 a month for the first like 6 months or 4 months. But yeah, you got cute little Callaway gear for your Mii.
And that's all the gear that I'm using. If you wanted to know like the gear that I have my outfit, and then I have Callaway clubs and ball. That's what I play with.
That's awesome.
Because I played Callaway in high school. Like I just play Callaway in Mario Golf.
Yeah.
If you have power saves, you can probably hack it. I'll say that.
It's so good. It's so good. I tried to tell you guys. It's so good.
Well,
I bought the game day one, and I bought DLC day one. It's just like amazing to me that I ever found somebody that's obsessed with golf games as much as Donnie is. It's just like we're talking that night at GameStop. It's like, I love golf games. I do too. It's like, oh my god! No way!
I guess I have no competitive spirit really when it comes to games. Like I play Smash, I'm like whatever happens. I play kart, and like I like trying to win at kart, but like losing doesn't bother me. Golf, it kind of does. Like when I lose at golf, like if the new Mario Golf comes out, I'm beating Jason. I'll keep playing until I beat Jason for sure. I'm not gonna be like, well, Jason's so good at video games. No, not a golf.
As long
games.
as Camelot keeps making the Mario Golf and tennis games,
that's the
I
thing. It
think
needs
we're
to
good.
be Camelot because they haven't done all the Mario Golf games. It needs to be Camelot. Camelot is the best. Camelot's the best at it. Is Camelot exclusive? I don't know if I've played a Camelot game on another console. I don't know.
I don't think so.
But if I was Sony, I'd give Hot Shots to Camelot because they screwed everybody's golf up. It's not nearly as fun as it used to be, in my opinion. So let's get off we talk about golf for like 10 minutes, man.
We talked about like
it's like 4 weeks in a row. We're talking about this 3-year-old game.
Because every time we promote it, we bring more people into the fold.
Yeah, we've got
so
like what,
fun.
almost
it is so
20
much fun
people.
seeing all the me's and yeah, that is. I told you, it's a really neat, like unique multiplayer experience. I still to this day best multiplayer game you can play on 3DS in my mind. Yeah. What we need to do
like that.
next week, next tournament, we need to find a lunch time or an afternoon time where we all play together in the same lobby. We need to lobby up and play live together.
Yeah, so how does that work exactly?
It's just like Metroid Prime Federation Force. Like you actually join up online and you play in a lobby and you like see each other as you're playing like live. So it kind of looks the same, but you're all like playing in real time. So like you can't like quit and start over. So
I apologize. I'm loading up one of our articles, and if an auto ad plays, I apologize in advance.
You got to mute the tab, man. Mute the tab.
Anyway, yeah, I've only played online in a lobby maybe about 3 or 4 times on there. I just never had like the people that I knew. I think I only had 2 or 3 people that ever played Mario Golf before. So this is kind of
when we started. We were back at Married to the Games forums. I think there was like 6 of us. It was like Brian and some of the old like Nintendo forum folks. Like we played religiously every week for about 6 months, man.
You always had the opens, as you described it, and I remember I was like, I didn't have the 3DS yet, and I was like, oh, I gotta get a 3DS, and then it's like, well, by the time I finally do, they're not gonna play it anymore, so what's the point of getting it?
We had a really good group. It wasn't many, 5 or 6 of us, but we played constantly every week for a while. It was very fun. It was a lot of fun. I've always wanted all right, so before we move into the next topic, my big
we're off golf.
My big task that I've always wanted was for them to make a Wii Sports like this.
Oh, yeah, that would be fantastic.
I've always wanted a Wii Sports, but like with online multiplayer, online tournaments, but like with good controls, like maybe even optional controls. Maybe you could do the 3-click with a controller, or you could do the motion controls, but like a good motion-based Wii Sports, Mario Golf, Me Golf, whatever you want to call it. Like that's what I always wanted. That's the dream. So that's what when I bought the Wii U day one, what sold me was that first trailer where they showed somebody hit the ball out of the sand trap off the gamepad. I was like, oh, it's happening! And then I played it and I was like, this is terrible. It's awful. Like, when we play Wii Sports, because we still do, when we play Wii Sports, we play Wii Sports Resort. Like we didn't even go to Wii Sports and Wii. You're like, just put that trash away. It's so bad. Our next topic is something that I wanted to do, which I think will be good, and it's going to be maybe I'm taking a little bit from If We Ran Nintendo, maybe a little bit. It's not so much If We Ran Nintendo, here's how we would do things, but
what
I'm doing is I'm pulling a rumor or a topic out of the echo chamber, and I'm putting it down here for us to talk. Like, just talk all about it. Like, get all of our thoughts out about this topic as it relates to Nintendo for E3. So if listeners out there, if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss, or Caroline, Jason, if you have something you really want to talk before E3, you got like 5 weeks. You got 5. We got 5 to do. Tonight, I put the first topic down. Virtual console. Let's talk about it. Do we think it's going to be E3? What do we think it is? Do we think it's even going to be a thing anymore? Let's talk about Virtual Console in depth, not just Virtual Console.
Well, we know we're going to be getting something because we're supposed to be getting we're supposed to be getting more news on the online service this month.
Right.
And the big part of the online service, and we've seen what we think would be these first 3 games as part of the subscription are some of what would have been Virtual Console titles. So we think we're going to get something more related to that. But, you know,
to add to that point, to interrupt you quickly, Nintendo also did say in this little earnings reveal that they did last week, we're supposed to be hearing about this online service like soon. They said early May. So like this week, next week, we're supposed to be hearing about it. So sorry.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that is our finally some lead into that. The one thing that I think is interesting to take into consideration with Virtual Console is how much support are we going to get from, your Konamis or your Capcoms, who in the past had Virtual Console games on Wii and possibly Wii U, but now they've kind of found their own way to monetize their classic library. So are we going to see some of those games that were on Virtual Console in the past now not be supported moving forward?
Question. I'm glad you went there. You man, you're just so... It's my brother here. I love Jason Lacey. So the question then is, if all these other companies are releasing collections, standalone games, not tied to a service, why do we think Nintendo's going to do Virtual Console of old? Why wouldn't they just do the same? And maybe this Nintendo service is just like some limited time access to some ROMs. And it's not tied to this Netflix-like giant library that we've been thinking about. Like, what if they don't just drop a NES collection, SNES collection, SNES collection Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4? Like, because I think there's more money on the table for them to do the latter than the before. Like, if they take a collection of 2 games everybody would buy, and they package it with 3 games nobody would buy, you're making a lot more money. Like, if they take Ice Climbers and some other things and Balloon Fight, and they put it with Link to the Past, and they drop that as a bundle, more people are going to buy it because they want Link to the Past, and they'll never buy the other ones.
Yep.
But you have to. It's a limited time thing, is what you're saying. And
I'm saying I think the Nintendo Online service might be just a limited time thing, and it may not be Virtual Console. We know. Yeah. We think.
Yeah. I mean, one argument I've heard too is like, why we haven't seen Virtual Console yet, or why we may not see Virtual Console as we know it, is look at indie games. Let's put out an example. Blossom Tales. It's what, $10, $15 on the eShop. What if all of a sudden you go on the eShop, it's like, oh, I want to play a Zelda game. I really liked Link to the Past when I was a kid. Oh, this Blossom Tales game looks good. $15. Oh, I can get Link to the Past? $5? I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to pay $15 on an indie game you're not sure of? Or are you going to get the thing you loved for a fraction of the price? So you're cannibalizing sales from
partners.
But yeah, so I think as Nintendo fans, it's what the Virtual Console is what it's always been, and so what's what we continue to want.
Isn't that a risk that the Blossom Tales people will take, knowing that there's going to be something like? I mean,
absolutely.
It's like, oh well, this SNES Classic came out, and people are just probably going to want to buy that and play that there. I mean, you obviously know that something's going to come out where they have Link to the Past available on this thing, and I don't know. I just feel like that they are aware of the risk, and they made the game anyway.
So, to spin it on another head, like, are we hoping that it is the Netflix service that we want it to be? Is that the hope, or are you hoping for that now? Are you hoping that they'll walk on stage and be like, Nintendo Online, $20 a year, you get access to a revolving title, every month, and a discount on 200 games to start, and they're here now and you can play them? Because as Jason kind of alluded to, if they drop Virtual Console in this giant Netflix a la carte thing, I do think it will cannibalize sales of other games, other partners. Now, it'll also sell more systems. I think a lot more people will come to buy the Switch because they want those classic games. But there's
Yeah, I've had people at my office that one of the guys that he's not really a gamer. I mean, he said he had a 360, and I sold him my Xbox One before I bought the Xbox S and made a nice profit off him. After I tried to tell him you can just buy a new one for cheaper than this. Nope, I'll give you $160 for it. Okay, but for the longest time he's like, I just want to buy. Where can I get he wanted a Nintendo system where he could just play old Nintendo games. That's what he wanted, So I think there's a bunch of people that want that, and I guess my envision for it is, we've got the online service coming, and if we're going to feature these certain games each month that you get to play, you get to have access to with whatever features they put it up. I guess the way I saw it is, you'd be able to play those games. If I wanted to buy those games, maybe I'd get a discount because they're the featured games that month. Maybe they sell it at like a 10% discount, something like that. And then everything else is there. I can't.
Okay.
It would
So
be.
you
it'd
still
be
think
crazy.
you can buy and own a license?
That's how I still would like for it to work.
Okay.
And now, in theory, if it was like like a game streaming service, and you could pay a premium, and you have access to just different tiers of games, that'd be pretty sweet too. But I think that's gonna. I feel like that would do
the
away
network
with
check
their-
for that would concern me.
Yeah,
How do you do that on airplane?
Yep. And then let's face it, I think they're going to keep doing this classic stuff. And so if you keep taking away games from not being able to sell some plastic with it,
Yeah.
man.
Hang on. Again, I love Jason Lacey. The SNES Classic sold 5.25 million units. Do you think like retro gaming might be a dwindling market or a smaller market? Because you remember we were all concerned, like, oh, we have to get one, like, we got to get in line, and we all had all these pre-orders and everything, and like they're pretty like available right now.
Yeah.
I get Wario tweets like every week. I'm like, people are
Yeah.
still trying, like, why? Like, if you haven't gotten one by now,
I think there's still a lot of people that are still waiting for that because there's that rumored NES Classic restock that's supposed to be happening, and a lot of people are waiting for that. But yeah, like I see weekly, I think from Wario, the SNES is in stock somewhere.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Caroline, what's your worst? Like, what's the worst case scenario for Virtual Console? Like, what's the Nintendo gets up and they says this, and they've ruined it for me at E3. Like, what's that? Let's get to the opposite end of the spectrum.
That it's the same old what we've had for the Wii and Wii U. If it's just, oh, you can buy this game for $5.99 and have it in your library. I think we've gone past that part where we need to, people kind of want that Amazon Prime Netflix experience, and I think that's kind of what they need to have. I mean, like the Xbox, what's their $10 a month thing that
Game
they've
Pass.
got? Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got to go that route.
It's interesting. I do think it's interesting. I would say I'm maybe on the opposite end. I'm a little concerned that the only way I'm going to be able to play classic games is if I subscribe to them. And I kind of am that. I feel like I'm that older generation where I want to buy them and put them on my console, and I don't want to be worried like when the next console comes out that I'll lose access to them. But at the same time, if they promise to me on day one that if I subscribe, I will never lose access on the next console, I need that to be there. If they do a subscription model, I need them to go when Switch 2 Pro Plus comes. Anything that you subscribe to in your library from here to this point forward will still be there. I need that. I need that promise.
They're going to come out and say, we've got Virtual Console with cloud saves. You've got Link to the Past on here.
Else.
It's going to sync to your Link to the Past over there.
Oh, that would be something.
That's worth $20 a month or $20 a year for sure.
Yeah, but that's just it. Does the online service in general include all online play for Switch games and all former retro games, or is it a separate thing altogether?
Yeah.
So I think if you've got $20 a year for all online service for Switch games, and you get an entire library of retro games, or maybe a higher tier for here's all the GameCube and Wii games for $40 for a year, I think people will bite.
I think if they rolled it out slowly, like we've known them to, I don't think people like hearing this, but
It's been over a year.
I think if
for $5 more, you get GameCube Virtual Console.
I'm thinking like if they just do $20 a year, here are your 3 games this month, and they just keep building on it month over month over month. I think that kind of lets them have their cake and eat it too, because on one hand, they're not flooding the market with games that cannibalize sales of anybody else that's in the window, but at the same time, they're piecemealing, breadcrumbing along us as we continue to build a library.
Yeah.
But you can't go that route without future promises. Like, at least in my mind, you've got to make sure that you let people know, as long as you subscribe to Nintendo Online, you'll have access to these games. Doesn't matter what console you play on.
So you're saying those titles won't rotate; they'll just stack. They'll like digital releases.
If they rotate them, so my thing with the rotation is I'm not necessarily anti-rotation. We talked about this when we heard the rumors, or when they first heard like they might rotate stuff. I don't mind rotating because one, the price is so low, so the rotation makes me feel like it's like a game of the month club, right? Like everybody come to play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Mario Golf experience, right? We're all playing now, so we play together. I don't mind that as long as I can buy the game. You can't rotate if I can't buy the game. If you rotate and then it just goes away forever, now I'm angry. That would probably be my worst case scenario. Here's the service. We're going to let you play these games and we're going to take them away from you. You'll never be able to play them again. Like that would be like worst
Super
case
limited
scenario.
edition.
Yeah, that would be really, that'd be a bummer. That'd be a real bummer. I'd be upset in that regard, but it's interesting. I getting back to my whole profit margin argument with the new president, I think there's more money if they bundle them and sell them in packs. It's like that Rock Band track pack type thing. I mean, right? Yeah. If you think about all the games they have, right? We're talking hundreds of NES, Super NES, N64 games. Let's don't even think about GameCube right now. Just take all the ones that we've had before, right? Hundreds, thousands maybe, right? Thousands of games on Virtual Console, like Wii. Yep. If you broke them into, let's say you sold 5 or 6 of them at $20 each, don't you think you can make more money than just putting them on a market and letting people pick and choose a la carte?
Yeah, because people are going to have to buy the pack to get the game they want.
To get the one they want. And maybe, and you know, I know a lot of people would be very angry. I feel like a lot of people would be very angry because they've gotten used to this service that they can go grab. But I think it's not a terrible idea to get people trying some other games maybe they never played before. I like collections. I think my ultimate answer, like my utopia, is everything. Everything that we just said is an option. You want to subscribe? Instant access to the stuff. You want to buy them? Here's the price per thing. You want to buy bundles? I would love if it was like a SNES library pack. You know, like here's the SNES Mini on a game cart for your Switch. You know, just like 25 games, $60, something like that.
On a cart.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I would love it if they just did everything. If they really just adopted and owned it and said, like, how do you want this to work? Do you want to buy them? Here's the price. And you could even do like that Wii U higher price thing, you know, where I felt like the Wii U Virtual Console was a little expensive. It's like $8.99 for like SNES games and $19.99 for Wii games and stuff like that. Like, it is a bit much. But at the same time, if you're buying a license to it, you could charge that. But the subscription service maybe is a little lower. Maybe it's like $5-10 a month and you just play as much as you want. I could see a lot of people jumping on that. And then the old school folks, the people that are used to, because their problem is that they've had this service already existing. So
that's my thing.
Strong deviation from it's going to upset somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, period. No matter what they say to E3, I feel like somebody's going to be upset.
Oh, yeah. It's Nintendo and it's the internet. Someone's going to hate it.
Somebody's not going to be happy.
It's inevitable.
Jason, what's your worst case Virtual Console?
Then all we get are those 3 games rotating, and that's it. You get 3 things featured, and that's it. Like
that would be pretty. That'd
be so
really
bad. That sounds so Nintendo to you.
Nothing else. All you get is like, yep, this month we're gonna let you play Mario Kart. You're gonna need to play Clue, whatever that stupid game is, and you're gonna need to play Snake Rattle and Roll. Have fun, you know. And just because we're gonna let you play Bump and Jump too.
Oh my god!
So you know, I like what you said. You know, it's gonna get people together playing the same thing. Even though it did not go well for me on Fluxpose, I played Super Mario Kart, and it was terrible. I hated it. It's so bad. But the idea of like playing that I still think the weird thing, if I could play with 8 people like Mario Kart 8, and I just play online with a bunch of people playing that old ugly game.
I'd do that for a night. I'd do that for a Friday night.
For a night. So it's like it can bring together like some cool little game night experiences, but in terms of a long-term experience, it's just not. It's no good. It's no good.
Last question I have to pose to the Shack: can Virtual Console survive if it's just first party?
Yeah, I think so. I think people that are buying Nintendo want to buy, or if they want to buy Nintendo retro games, they're obviously just going to go for a Nintendo. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the greats were on NES and the SNES and all this stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean,
all of my
your Mega
retro
Man,
games aren't connected to anything. But those aren't first party though.
I would question, because I feel like Jason wants to say yes, but then it would happen, and I would question actually how many he would buy. Yeah, like at $8.99 a pop, I'd be like, how many are you actually going to buy? You'd probably buy Super Mario World, Super Mario 3, Link to the Past. But
No,
maybe,
I don't need, I already have Link to the Past on 2 systems. I don't need it again.
So you probably wouldn't buy Mario Bros. You probably wouldn't buy any 64 stuff.
No, God, no.
See, like,
No.
I'm questioning
Kill the
if they go
Kill the
that
fire.
old route, how many people are
Yeah.
willing to double dip again? I'm the opposite end. I'll buy most of them.
Final
I'm
Fantasies
just
and Chrono
saying-
Trigger, sign me up. But
Yeah, like stuff like that I'm not gonna have a physical copy of. I only have physicals of first party. So, but if I have a physical of a first party, I'm gonna pop in the physical.
I'm getting a little more hesitant to think that we'll see a Chrono Trigger, or like, I don't know how many of these third-party releases we're going to get anymore.
exactly. I know.
Yeah, because like you said, like, people are, these Mega Man collections and things, like, people are like understanding, like, hey, we can make more money off of this. Let's cut Nintendo out. Let's do this ourselves.
Yeah. I would think that the thing with Square, though, also, we've got this relationship. We got Octopath.
Yep.
They've got, there's what's going on with Tokyo RPG Factory. So I think they have that relationship where they could still do that. But at the same time, like, we can put this crappy mobile port of Chrono Trigger on Steam and people snatch it up. So, I mean, they're not having a problem.
I'd
selling
love
their
company
stuff.
collections. I'd love like a Square collection, a Konami collection.
Ooh.
That would be pretty cool.
That would
That'd
be
be sweet.
awesome. That'd be great. If
Yeah,
they just
a
did,
Konami
and
collection
Nintendo
would be
did
great.
like generation collections and stuff like that.
I want an LJN collection.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, there's a strong part of me that thinks the collection route would be like way more. Like, I'd buy more of them. I feel like.
Sure.
I feel like if they were like, we're gonna put collections on carts, I think by the end of the console, I'd buy more of those than if they just put games on the eShop.
They
Yeah.
started kind of doing that in the Game Boy. Well, I take that back. Did they have collections on the Game Boy? Like those classic NES series carts that they did. There
That I
weren't
don't.
multiple.
I never
There
owned
weren't
a Game Boy.
multiple. Game Boy Advance, I mean, GBA.
Didn't own one of those either.
Oh my god. Yeah, they came out with like these NES repros on Game Boy Advance, and I don't remember if there were multiple
Oh.
games to a cart or if there were just like the one NES game. Didn't we get an NES remix for Wii U?
Yeah,
So I mean, it's
we got
being
NES
done.
Remix 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I'd really love to get both of those, and an SNES Remix came on Switch. That'd be really good stuff. But we'll save those topics. We'll come back with another E3 in-depth dive. But
Like that.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about.
I paid
Classic NES
$17 for The Legend of Zelda at some point.
You can probably get it for like $5.
That's the first time I played through it, though, was on this. So
wow,
Yeah, it introduced me to a lot of NES games that I hadn't played.
it's crazy, man. Like, we have no idea what Virtual Console could be.
So they were just single games. They weren't.
Yeah, I think they were just
for
single.
some reason, I was remembering them as like packaged games, but maybe I was making that up or something. But the NEX mix.
you have been having weird dreams lately, so
Yeah, I have.
Last thing I had was that Ikaruga is coming out this month. That's the
Yeah.
the bullet shooter. I've never played this game.
I think I
Jason?
played it on I played it on PlayStation a little bit.
Came out
way
on
back
360, came out on Dreamcast, came out on GameCube. It's been out on all kinds of stuff, but yeah, it's coming
Yeah, I
out
remember
on-
it being on GameCube.
It's only $15, and it has a really high Metacritic game. So if you're
when. It's
if you're
a good
like,
shoot 'em up.
I need something to play, this game apparently is worth its money. Any game that Metacritic's at, like, any game that's been out for over a decade, that Metacritic's on all consoles over 85 is probably worth $15. Like, it sounds like it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
So, but that's all we had. That's all I got, Jason.
It's a good game. You should play it.
Okay.
We actually had something to talk about this week.
Yeah,
It's fun.
It's
We didn't even
amazing.
talk about what we were playing,
Nope, we'll do that next week
Nope.
with another E3 topic. So
unless we get a crazy amount of news
come
again.
up with some ideas. We need some E3 topic ideas, guys.
Yeah, send us your topics.
Listener participation. Well then, it's the time.
It's
Pack
time.
up the shack. Get out of here. As always, we would like to thank you for listening. Please check out our other shows on the PSVG Podcast Network. You can find me, JW Lacey. Where can you find you, Caroline?
You can find me at the Nintendo Name on Twitter. And guys, I have been so active in the Discord, have I not?
You've been
Like-
blowing up the Discord.
Super active. I'm sorry if I'm ridiculously annoying. I'm trying to lose weight, and people are joining me on my weight loss journey, so I really appreciate that. I like having the help. But you can find me on Discord or on Twitter.
Donnie.
I'm chatting Sean, trying to track his Mario
I know.
Golf score in the
I
chat
know.
here.
He's coming for us. He's coming for
trying.
us.
He's trying to get there. He's run out of holes, Sean. Run out of holes.
Sean
I'm on
Capri
Twitter
never
at
runs
Playing
out of
Nintendo.
holes.
As Sean Capri in the chat says, ain't no G's in Playing Nintendo. And follow the entire team over there on Twitter at PSVG. Tell a friend about the podcast network. We are doing some fun things. We're shuffling up the podcast rotation. We got a new blog going out there, psvg.blog. Jason posted his first story today. Beautiful, beautiful piece of blogging over there. Brand new artwork from none other than the Nintendame. Thank you so much for the beautiful artwork for the entire
rebranding.
network. So
I try.
Close it down.
that's it.
That's it. We're shutting it down. As always, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week for more Nintendo Shack.
Good night, Koopalings.
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network. Find more great content at playsomevideogames.com.